Welcome to a new episode of Awards Whispers. You might notice that John is missing today. Where is John? He was arrested for hiding in the bushes across the street from June Squibb's bathroom. We're gonna go with that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh,
Public indecency was always going to be his undoing.
it was just a matter of time. But I'm joined here today by my two good Judys and all-time friends, Erik Anderson from Awards Watch and Rob Montoya of Rob Montoya's fame. Um, Thank you so much, guys, for jumping in and saving our pod because it felt wrong not to have Oscar predictions the day before the actual Oscar predictions are going to be released. So that's what we're doing today. We're going to go over all the categories. And then John sent me his predictions in the Big Eight. So we'll also make fun of his predictions when we get there. And it's gonna be a long ass episode. So let's just get into it.
All right.
Let's do it.
Just do that. So we're gonna start from score. Erik, what do you have?
I have Oppenheimer, Killers of the Flower Moon, Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, Poor Things, and The Zone of Interest.
Okay, we barely match.
Perfect.
Here's the good thing is that between the three of us, I think we'll get the actual five like correct. I have Boy and the Heron, Elemental, Indiana Jones, because I cannot talk myself out of that, Oppenheimer, and Zone of Interest.
Wow. No
Okay.
Yes. Yes.
No
like
sympathy for Robbie Robertson. Goodness.
Well, yeah. Yeah, we'll talk about it. Rob?
I like those bold predictions. You're the John Williams thing that's real.
Yeah.
I mean, he's just one of those guys that they're just going to put on it. I think there's some, you know, questions around his retirement and would this be his last score and yada yada yada. So, I have I'm kind of split between the three of you guys. So I've got Timer, Killers, Spider, but I also have Boy and the Heron, and I also have John Williams. So yeah.
Like intellectually, I know that Spider-Man is in,
Yeah.
but I don't know what to take out because Indiana Jones for me, it's not so much a matter of the score itself, which is completely like by the numbers, but it's
Right.
probably his last.
Right. And he was
stuff.
nominated the last three, for all of them, except he wasn't nominated for Crystal Skull, right?
No.
But he was nominated for the first three.
Yeah.
And I just
But between that and Star Wars,
right, all the Star Wars,
he got in other places, and this has been absolutely nothing.
right.
So
Yeah.
I was just a little less inclined to include him. Although, yeah, if he makes it in, it will be to nobody's surprise.
Right.
Do we
Yeah,
know
no.
that it's his last movie?
It's not because that was supposed to be the case, and it's actually not.
Right.
Okay.
He's said something to the effect. There was some article that I read recently about him, like, well, you know, if the right thing comes around, I'll consider it.
Yeah.
As long as he's alive and Spielberg is making movies, the right thing will come around.
Right.
Yeah, but how old is he? 189?
Is he in his 90s now?
I think he's 90. I think he's 90 now.
So, I mean, it gets to a point where it might just be his last score, whether he wants it or not. Right? So,
right.
I mean,
yes, in theory, that is possible. This could be his last score if,
stuff happens.
Things happen. The natural progress of life.
Yes. So I think that was my reasoning behind it. I understand that Spider-Man is 99% in.
Yeah.
Like probably.
And I'm the only one that had Poor Things, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. That's that's an interesting one just because it's such a unique, strange score. I kind of not similar to Social Network, but kind of in that vein where it was just not a traditional score with a lot of the off and electronics and all that. So
There are some very
yeah.
traditional operatic score moments,
Right,
though, which
right.
I think is enough to kind of to get it there.
Yeah.
But it also is one of those things where it depends on how well that movie plays overall. And Zone 2.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Which is a huge question mark for me
Yeah.
after BAFTA, especially.
Yeah.
And I have to be like, I haven't seen it yet. Not that it would really matter, but I just feel like after BAFTA, there seems to be a certain like hesitancy in terms of is it going to get in everywhere it was supposed to get in? Probably not. Even in like categories above the line where I think a month ago would have said it's getting in like 2 nominees in this one, and now it's question mark there too. So I don't know. But again, I still think it's a better prediction than Indiana Jones, but I'm just going with my gut.
Yeah.
I think it's realistic though that when we think of the movies that are going to presumably earn the most, like Poor Things, Oppenheimer, Killers, and Barbie, that each of them is going to miss at least one thing that seems like they should have gotten in. Nobody's
Yeah.
getting everything. Oppenheimer will probably be the closest to it, but they're not going to get everything.
Right. If there's one movie that I think might actually overperform is Oppenheimer, but that's it.
God, the only way it can really overperform though is to get more acting nominations.
Supporting actor is what I'm
fearing.
Yeah.
I'm concerned. Yeah.
I guess we'll get to that.
We sure will. Okay, so song. Rob, what do you have?
I have the 2 Barbie songs, What I Was Made For, I'm Just Ken, Road to Freedom from Rustin, It Never Went Away from American Symphony, and God, I think that because this person always gets nominated regardless of what trash she writes.
She's in.
A fire inside.
Just say it. Yes.
Flame in a hot pile of shit.
We'll need to qualify that this is,
and you can edit that out.
This is a Diane Warren stan account / podcast.
Oh, yeah.
We love her, but I mean, she does get in for everything.
Yeah.
So I feel like
everything.
I have 4 of your 5. As
Okay.
in, I have The Fire Inside. I have the 2 Barbie songs.
Okay.
I have It Never Went Away. And then I have the song from Killers of the Flower Moon, which I'm gonna butcher, the Wazazi, I think it's called. Just because it feels like the song that they would nominate here to feel good about themselves.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Erik, what do you have?
I have the same 5 as Rob, but I believe I have the Killer song at number 6 for exactly that reason.
Which I've seen the movie, and it's the song that plays over the end credits.
It's just before the end credits when they're around the circle, and it's a very long extended scene, and it's beautiful, and it absolutely does represent and encapsulate a lot. So it making it in makes absolute sense.
I did really like that song, actually, now that I think about it. And I could see it staged at the Oscar in my mind. It's one of those things that I can see it like staged. And
talk about feeling good about themselves. Yeah. If they fill the stage with Indigenous people, they'll feel pretty good about it.
So Erik, if for some reason that song gets in, what would you bump of the 5? Because since you
The Fire Inside is my number 5.
Oh, it is?
Okay.
Yeah. So it is essentially Diane Warren will always be in spot number 5 for me. Okay. Almost all the time. She'll be in that number 5 spot for a nomination.
She just needs to get hired to write a song for like a Best Picture winner. And then maybe.
I've talked to her about this a lot. Like when I do predictions and she is not in the top 5, she will message me and ask me why I'm not in your top 5. And it's a little daunting. But she's also
that's some pressure.
It's a little bit. But she also is at every single event that doesn't have anything to do
That's
with
how she gets in.
her, but so that she can talk to everybody.
Just
And
shaking hands and kissing babies.
it really, really, really is. And she sees everything and talks about everything. She's, you know, as much as she's about herself getting in, she's also really great about, you know, promoting for everybody else. But what I kind of keep coming back to of why she's always in is original song and score have like one of the biggest sets of precursors. There's like
Yeah.
4.
Yeah.
And 2 of them are very specifically music, and it's the Hollywood Music and Media and the Society of Composers and Lyricists.
Yeah.
Both of those are the only that have crossover into the Academy music branch, and it's pretty significant. So if you want to kind of like really figure out why she keeps getting in, start there, because she'll always get in there, and that crossover is huge.
She knows how to play the game, to her credit, and I think people know of her.
Yeah.
And it's just an easy box. It's just an easy box to check. It's like one of those categories where like people that vote on these, I think at large, will not have listened to all the songs. They just recognize the name and they're like, oh, she is there. This feels familiar.
Right.
And she's constantly able to get in no matter how much the music branch changes their voting system and, you know, point levels, and it doesn't matter. She's always in.
I should get in for movies that basically don't exist.
Mm-hmm.
Like last year.
Even the eligibility of this was like really like last minute, because everybody was like, this debuted on Hulu. When did this have a release? And it did, but it was just like, it was quieter than a Netflix release.
What is this movie about? Is it like animated?
No, it's the Flaming Hot Cheeto story.
Yeah, it's about the guys who created the
it's a documentary.
Hot Cheetos. No, it's a movie.
No, it's a movie.
It's
Eva Longoria directed it.
Okay, this needs to get in now. I need to see this.
Yeah, it's on Hulu.
Mm-hmm.
You can watch it right after. You can watch it right after this.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Oh, that's wonderful.
It's you know, and you know, we are at the 10th anniversary of Alone Yet Not Alone.
Yes.
That gorgeous, wonderful moment, and there was no way I was gonna let today go without us, you know, commemorating a song in a movie that does not exist. Speaking of Diane Warren.
Yes. Although, like, Diane Warren, I would literally do everything that she does to get an Oscar nomination. Like, I am not in any shape or form like criticizing like her MO at all. I would do worse, actually. Alone was, I think, a situation where the rules were actually broken.
They very much were broken.
Yeah. So we're not comparing Diane to Diane knows how to play the game.
100%.
Yes. Okay. Let's do sound. I'm gonna go first. I have Barbie, The Killer, Maestro, Oppenheimer, and Zone of Interest. Erik, what do you
wow.
The Killer was like this morning.
You know, I was literally thinking about this category last night in bed.
Mm-hmm.
And longing for the days when it was 2 categories, when it was sound mixing and sound editing, because I was thinking exactly that if there was a sound editing category still, The Killer would easily make it in, like Drive and, you know, stuff like that we know can kind of Fight Club even can jump in there for that. Having the category be single again kind of defeats that for me, but it is a masterpiece of sound. It is. I love that movie, and the sound design is absolutely incredible.
Yeah.
I have Oppenheimer, Maestro, Ferrari, Killers of the Flower Moon, and The Zone of Interest.
Okay, so we still match 4 out of 5.
Except I don't have Barbie.
Oh, you don't have Barbie, so 3 out of 5.
Yeah, this is one of my Barbie misses, in the way that I have misses for.
It would be a miss, right?
Those.
I think we're saying that it would be.
I think so.
Yeah.
I mean, it's got a massive musical number. It has fantastic sound design too.
Yes. Rob, what do you have?
Wow, I kind of did some weird stuff here. I did Oppenheimer, I did Maestro, I did Killers of the Flower Moon, but I also did Spider-Man Into the
Mm.
Spider-Verse and Society of Snow. They
Mm.
can't resist a plane crash, you know?
Those are those
So
are those are those are two good calls, I think.
so I
Yeah.
just kind of went with those. Just I'm probably wrong, but I went with
Mm.
those just on the. I was thinking in terms of with the with the international, with last year with I almost said All the President's Men, all quite on the Western Front, and then
Mm.
some animated do get into sound like Soul, and there was so much of it in Spider. It just and I think Spider Verse is going to do well. So that
Mhm.
was kind of my lopsided logic.
I mean, Spider-Verse is in theory in line for a Best Picture nomination, as in it's not going to happen, but it
Right.
could.
Yeah, I have it
Mm.
down.
It's not out of the realm of possibility.
I think
Right.
it's pretty far out.
It's pretty far out, but I mean,
Yeah,
yeah. If you were like to write down like 20 titles for that,
I'd
If
have
there
it.
were
I
20, yes,
I would include it. Yeah.
I would
Yeah.
too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Ferrari for me is the one that I took out this morning. I haven't seen it. I just can't get over the fact that the trailer looks like Gran Turismo to me, and I can't take it seriously. I can't take it seriously.
You
And it's
know,
probably on me.
I think it's definitely in because
Yeah.
of the MPSC and Cinema Audio
Yeah.
Society nominations that it has. But to that exact reason, Barbie has CAS and 2 MPSE. Napoleon has 2 MPSE. Those make more sense than some that I have. Than Zone, probably. Maybe even Killers. Maybe this is like a place where Killers misses.
Yeah, because I don't have killers in. And honestly, I told myself when I was putting this category together that I needed to have a musical in, and it was Barbie over Color Purple.
Well,
But
Color Purple definitely
one,
was not
because
coming
it's
anywhere near
yeah,
here.
it's done nothing in like a category that generally is very kind to musicals.
Yeah,
It just flopped so hard.
yeah, yeah. I ended up going with 4 of the 5 CAS
Yeah,
nominees instead of 5 for 5, and so that's Zone of Interest, which is in my 5th spot, is the outlier
yeah.
there, but it got into BAFTA, so it's I tried to find a combination of all those precursors and then what makes the most
But I
sense.
mean, but with sound, and I think in Zone of Interest, it's the fact that the sound is so diegetic to the movie, as
Yep.
in what plays in the background. It's a huge part of the story. And I think if you watch the movie and you like the movie, and it seems like a lot of people like the movie, that the sound is almost like a character in the film. So it isn't an obvious nominee for a category like the category as we know it. But I think it's gonna happen.
Yeah, I think most viewers, and I know everything is obviously branch specific, but I don't know how you can really like even separate the
Yeah,
sound and the score
yeah,
also, because they completely and almost only work together.
yeah,
So it sort of feels like it's going to get both or none. It would be weird to have one.
yeah, yeah.
I don't
Rob, you
know.
also didn't have killers, right?
Killers of the Flower Moon.
Yeah.
Hang on, where's my sound? What did I have? I had Oppenheimer, Maestro. No, I did have Killers, and then
Oh, you do.
I did have
Okay.
Killers, and then I had Spider-Man and Society of Snow.
Yeah. So killers inside of me are both good predictions. I think with Society, I was expecting it to do more BAFTA, honestly.
Yeah.
Maybe going off of like what happened last year with All Quiet, which
Yeah.
it's kind of like it's maybe not a direct comparison or like the fairest comparison to have. They're two very different films, but I feel like BAFTA let it down a little bit.
Yep.
And then to me, that meant that below the line, they were probably going to look at other places because it was
And again, I think
definitely,
if this was a split sound category, would be a great place
yeah,
for society to get into sound editing just for the
Yeah.
the plane crash alone.
Right.
Yeah.
I want more categories, not fewer.
Right. I know.
Yeah. I don't understand why this was combined in the first place, honestly.
They had too many years where it was
It's two completely different things.
Either
There's sound in both, but like they're two.
yeah, too many years had what I think appeared to look like a lot of lazy voting. So
Yeah.
sound mixing and sound editing were matching up 4 and 5 and 5 and 5 and 5 too much.
Yeah. Yeah.
A lot of
Which I
crossover.
get it, but still. Yeah. I also want more categories. So
Yeah.
Costumes. Erik, what do you have?
Oh my God. This is
Yeah.
one of those where I made my predictions and even, did my homework of why, and then afterwards regretted it like immediately.
I still hate mine. Yeah. No, I get it.
I have Barbie, Poor Things, Killers of the Flower Moon, Maestro, and Oppenheimer. And Maestro and Oppenheimer
Oh.
are on the 4 and 5. I think Maestro should be probably 5. But this is like totally somewhere that I think Oppenheimer could miss.
Yes.
And the thing that I wasn't thinking of at the time, and I really should have, because I sort of included it in my write-up, is Colleen Atwood for The Little Mermaid, who's gotten in when she gets the Costume Designers Guild nomination.
Yeah.
She got here. I think
Yeah.
she's gotten in 11 out of 13 times.
Yeah.
That puts her in a really good spot. Little Mermaid just feels like an absolute non-starter.
It just doesn't exist.
Yeah.
That's the issue.
So I kept her off of it because of that. But then if she sneaked in, not a surprise.
Not a surprise. No, I would agree. I have your top three. I also have Barbie. I have Poor Things. I have Killers. And then I went with Napoleon, which was okay.
Yeah.
And Ferrari.
Oh, cool.
Which to me is just, in terms of costumes, as good as Oppenheimer, like coin toss, pretty much. Napoleon, I feel like it's slightly easier to defend. But am I 100%? No.
Napoleon's a really good prediction, actually.
Yeah.
It should be right there.
I think I have it at 4, but yeah. Rob, what do you have?
I have Barbie, Poor Things, Killers of the Flower Moon, Oppenheimer, and I don't know why I picked this, and maybe because of, but I'm going to go totally out on a limb.
Mm-hmm.
Asteroid City.
I don't know why, but I knew that's exactly what you were thinking, because Melina Canonero, why is it? I mean, she had that great period of like always getting in.
Yeah.
Costumes in this are so fucking stunning.
They're great. And it was funny about the Colleen Atwood thing. I thought about that for about half a second, and I actually just saw Little Mermaid not a couple of days ago. And one of the things I said was like, these are ugly.
Yes, they are. It's an ugly movie.
These are ugly costumes.
It just got off on the wrong foot with like those like pre-production pictures of like the makeup where Melissa McCarthy's
eyebrows
were like in 2 different
that are like
area codes. Yeah.
Absolutely.
So
time zones.
Yeah. So it's just I think that kind of turned a lot of people off in terms of like, what is this movie?
Yeah.
And she could be stronger than the movie pretty much not existing, because it's her. And as we said, she gets in for everything. But I would probably put her at 6 right now.
This should also possibly be the outside shot for The Color Purple.
Yeah.
No,
that was
I think I have it at like 10.
Yeah.
But there are a wide range of costumes and decades that are represented, including an entire musical number that's about making pants.
Yeah.
So, as bad as that number is, it's about making clothes. And, this branch really, really, really does like stories about designers.
I don't have a read on this movie. I don't
either.
This year, it is the one movie
it could get 0.
It could get 0. It could get 6. And I'd be like, sure. Of course.
6 would be a shock.
Yeah, but I don't have a read on it at all.
I
Like
haven't seen it, so
this entire, I haven't seen it either. This
Okay.
entire season, it's been like, does it exist? People hate it, and then it gets nominations where I didn't think it would get nominations. And then longlisted in two places at BAFTA were like, okay, it's dead, and then it makes it in for both. I'm like, can you make up your mind, people?
Right.
Like, what do we think about this movie? And I don't have a read on it. And costumes was one of those categories where like a month ago I was like, it's gonna get in here. And now I dropped it.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, I've got Napoleon at 6, Little Mermaid 7, Wonka
Mm.
at 8, Asteroid City, and then Color Purple.
Yeah. Yeah. Those yeah. Those are the ones. Yeah.
Erik, you had Maestro.
Yeah, Maestro's in my top 5, but I
Jessica,
feel
did you have Maestro
completely
also?
What's
Jessica,
that?
you didn't have Maestro, did you?
No.
Okay. So
I
you
think
and
I have it at 7.
Okay.
The only thing it got
Yeah.
was the CDG, but I don't know.
Sure. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. I know that I'm wrong. Because I'm looking at it, I know that I'm wrong, but I don't know what to take out. It's one of those. It's one of those years where I'm like, okay. Cinematography.
Ooh.
Erik, you're gonna go first on this.
Okay. It's a good category, but
It is a good category.
it's there's things that I want to get in here that aren't going to get in here. Oppenheimer, Killers of the Flower Moon, Maestro, Poor Things, in the Zone of Interest.
All right. We're actually matching more than I thought. I have Barbie, I have Killers of the Flower Moon, I have Oppenheimer,
Double
Poor Things.
Prieto.
Poor Things and the Zone of Interest.
Oh my.
Yeah. And I just want to go on record that I took an Enemy of a Fall out this morning. It was in there. I had it in there.
Really?
I did, because I was predicting an Enemy of a Fall to go the Tar way of getting both cinematography and editing.
Tar's cinematography nomination is one of my absolute favorites because
Same.
it's kind of finally like having an understanding that cinematography is so much more than
Oh, it looks pretty. Yes.
a great, gorgeous saturated shot or black and white 133.
Correct. Yes. Yeah. Rob, what do you have?
Oh wow. Okay, so I do have an Anime of a Fall in there.
Thank you. One of us needed to.
For the exact reason, Erik, you mentioned about Tar. And then I have Oppenheimer, Killers, and Poor Things. Is that 5? Did I get them all?
That's 4.
That's 4. What was my last one? Oh, Zone of Interest.
Yeah, I just regret taking the Enemy out, but it happened this morning. I just wanted to go on record. Okay. I'm not super convinced that Barbie is in. It's one of those, this is one of those texts where Barbie did way worse than I thought it would for no clear reason for me. I don't know. I feel, honestly, like Anatomy is fairly strong. If there were 5 Best Picture nominees, it would be in my top 5. Yeah. And you know what? I'm gonna take Barbie out and put Anatomy. Officially changing on the go.
I was gonna say because you have Killers, right? Or no?
I sure do. Yes.
Yeah. So a double Rodrigo Prieto would be pretty fascinating. I don't think we've had a double since Roger Deakins. I think he's the only recent person that's done that.
Yeah.
Well,
it would be deserved.
It's time for another one.
It would be deserved.
It would. I just need to go with my God on this one.
Yeah, I went with BAFTA 5.
Which would fair.
Which is 4 out of the 5 from ASC. That El Conde just is sort of sitting there waiting. But I think so is Saltburn. I think Saltburn would 100% be in here.
Yeah.
Because I think the cinematography is fucking stunning in that film. But
there's no room. This is one of those categories where, like, if I look at like each movie individually, I'm like, yes, this should intellectually be in, but there's only 5 slots.
Yeah.
There's only So I'm leaving out stuff that I'm like, this in any other year would get nominated.
You took Barbie out?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
Eric, did you have Barbie? I forgot.
I do not know.
Okay, so I have Barbie.
Yeah.
I just think they can't resist it. That the look of the film. I think the Rodrigo thing is interesting because two very different looking films from the same cinematographer. So that's why I think that was my kind of rationale.
It makes sense. It
It's
totally makes
just
sense.
so
feel
it's
like-
just so bright and flashy, and creating that world. I just I'm sticking.
I mean, I love the look of Barbie. I feel like
Mhm.
if Prieto gets both in, it will be a little less on the merit of Barbie and the idea of him getting 2 nominations for having
Yeah.
2 very, very different looking movies.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
And I just want to say that
Barbie, I love
no, yeah, same. I was gonna say I think Oppenheimer is winning this, but Zone of Interest should win.
it.
I don't know. That's tough.
It's I might not disagree. Yeah, there were too many things in the Zone of Interest that were so absolutely terrifying.
The fucking infrared.
That infrared, I have
Like-
not been able to get out of my head.
Same.
It's like imprinted on me now.
Yeah. Yeah.
I've never seen anything quite like that in the use of that. And that shook me.
Yeah. I might actually down the line predict it. But when we'll see how many nominations it gets.
It would be,
It-
I hope it at least gets in.
Yes. So, okay. Let's start from there. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I'm not 100%, but yeah, in a perfect world, it would win. Yeah. All right. Production design, Rob. Do you want to go first?
Sure. I have Asteroid City, Barbie, Killers of the Flower Moon, Poor Things, and Oppenheimer.
So I have the same 5.
So do I.
Okay.
There you go.
This- I mean, I know, when everyone agrees on something is like when
No, I think
it's gonna go awry. But looking at this category, it feels so right. And even with Asteroid City, because they have not been friendly to his
I know.
films in this category recently, that
Yeah.
absolutely deserve to be there.
French Dispatch,
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I have Asteroid City at 5 for that reason,
Mhm.
because they are pretty cruel to the phenomenal work that are in his films. So right under, I've got, Maestro's right there, Napoleon, even Wonka, even Saltburn and Beau's
Yeah.
Afraid. That's rounds out the rest of my top 10.
Yeah, Saltburn is my number 6, I think.
Stunning,
But
stunning design.
no, absolutely.
Love it.
Yeah, I cannot clock anything, but I think we're correct. That was because usually we're like, oh, what, but, we all go to the same thing. We're wrong. These are the 5.
Yeah,
But-
it just,
I'm
yeah.
fairly certain.
They
Yeah,
just look right.
yeah, it looks correct. Yes.
That being said,
Mhm.
BAFTA went with the Zone of Interest.
Mhm. I would not hate that.
Instead of Asteroid City. Again, a really brilliant choice.
Mhm.
The same way that the cinematography is just kind of showing us the wall and the buildings behind the wall. That is cinematography and production design, baby. That is
Yep.
giving us information and sort of making us feel like we're seeing things that we're not.
Mhm.
So it's right there.
Yeah, and I mean, Asteroid City, clearly you look at it and you're like, okay, yeah, great, amazing colors, it's just beautiful. Zone is a little more on the subtle side, and
Mhm.
I never know like whether I should trust voters here to pick up on that.
Yep.
Yeah, which unfortunate, but that's kind of how they go about things. So, but I mean, as I said, I think we're right.
I agree.
Yeah.
I think so. It feels really, really right.
Editing. I'm gonna go first here. Anatomy of a Fall. Barbie, Holdovers, Killers of the Flower Moon, Oppenheimer. Erik, same 5?
Do your 5 again, because
Anatomy, Barbie, Holdovers, Killers, and Oppenheimer.
okay, we're close.
Okay.
I have Oppenheimer, Killers, Poor Things, Anatomy, and the Holdovers.
So no Barbie.
Yeah, I have some big misses for Barbie.
That is a really good prediction, actually.
But
that is, yeah.
Ironically, I think the editing is one of Poor Things and Killers of the Flower Moon's biggest failures, personally.
Yeah.
They're the 2 weakest elements of both of those movies for me. But even though I have Poor Things at number 3, I feel like it is the weakest of my 5.
I should have prefaced before we even started that, like, looking at the totality of my nominations, that Poor Things is the biggest loser for me in terms of what happens tomorrow. Okay. So I think that accounts for it missing in some places where you guys probably both have it in.
Yeah. And again, the musical number in Barbie should be enough to get it in all of these things like sound and film editing. It should be enough.
Before we get into that, because I have opinions about that. Rob, what do you have?
Shit, I may have the same as one of you got. I don't have Barbie either.
So you have mine?
I think I have yours.
No, so you have Eric's.
Oh, Eric's?
Okay.
I have Oppenheimer, Killers, Poor Things, Anatomy, and Holdovers. Who's
That's
that?
me.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I went back and forth with Holdovers and Barbie. I went back and forth and back and forth. Those are the 2 that I just struggled with. And I'm still, but I decided to hold firm and just say the Holdovers. Even though Barbie's flashier.
Barbie is just like, there's lots of editing in it.
Yeah.
And
it's very functional to what the movie is.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say it's particularly mind-blowing in terms of like the craft of it. There's just a lot of it. And as you were saying, like the musical number is a prime example of that.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I'm still staring at that going like, I don't know.
I realize I didn't go quite with the BAFTA 5 because Zone of Interest got in there, but Zone of Interest is my number 6.
Same, fingers crossed. I'm like literally going against like things that I want to happen.
That movie needs 10 nominations.
Yes.
So.
Yes.
And we'll get to more of those.
I'll take supporting actress over editing if anybody is listening.
And supporting actor.
Holdovers, it's in just because I think it's probably number 2 in picture.
Yep, that's why I have it here. If you're gonna spoil in Best Picture, you got to get here first.
Yeah.
Yes. Which by the way,
I'm just concerned about the subtlety of the editing, that people aren't gonna quite understand it and go with Barbie that's a little bit more flashier. That's my only
for sure. But I think what our sort of
but the argument of
is that it is essentially
the number 2.
Yeah.
It's like the alternate for Best
Not
Picture.
everything gets to be coda and get in with nothing.
Right. At the last minute.
At the last second. Yeah.
Right.
So all right. Makeup and hair, Erik.
Makeup and hair. Fun, funky category. Lots of possibility. I have Oppenheimer. Hold on. No, I have Maestro, Poor Things, Oppenheimer, Beau is Afraid, and Society of the Snow. But I've Golda at 6, which is probably really getting it.
Which one?
Golda.
Oh.
With that flop mask makeup. She looks
Rob,
like
what do you have?
I basically have everything that Erik has. So I have Maestro, Poor Things, Oppenheimer, Society of Snow, but I have, instead of Beau is Afraid, because I always think no one saw that. I have Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3.
Sure.
Because there's got to be one of those in
They
there.
didn't get in.
Oh, it didn't get in?
They didn't make the short list. That was one of the biggest, horrifyingly shocking short list announcements.
I totally missed that.
Because it should have been a top 2 contender.
I
I'm like,
Okay.
intellectually, it should be like, yeah, no
Well,
brainer.
I'm super
Like, sure.
shocked.
It was
Okay.
that miss is still so stunning to me.
Oh, okay. So I did when I was reading the short list, I must have missed that. I just assumed. Okay, why don't you, Chesco, read
Okay,
yours, and then
so
I'll figure out what my fifth.
I think I'm four to five with like the ones that Eric had. I have Ferrari, Maestro, Oppenheimer, Poor Things, and Society of the Snow.
Okay.
Is
Yeah.
that 4 to 5?
That's 4. Yep.
Yeah.
All right, then I'll say
Just say Golda.
I'll say
'cause
Bo.
it's
I'll say Bo.
okay.
I'll say
I
Bo.
think Golda is so Golda to me is just an
Okay, that's it.
example of
Golda.
like
Golda.
most
Okay.
makeup that just looks like shit.
It's
But also
it's so
like,
bad.
she looks like a baked potato. And
She looks
I
like,
don't-
you know, like when an old woman's stockings get bunched up at the knee,
yes,
her whole face looks like that.
yes. I don't understand how
It's
that
awful.
happened.
It's
Like, yeah. But it is one of those instances, like, we're saying with Barbie and editing, most makeup generally makes it in. I don't have it in because I also feel like Ferrari is like an example of like most makeup, but done slightly better.
Mm-hmm.
And I think especially what they did with, I was impressed with what they did with Penelope Space. I need to be honest with
We're
that.
always impressed with her face.
Yeah, but they did a really, so I was like, this to me could happen here. But I mean, a lot of people have golden like third place, second place here.
Oh yeah,
and
absolutely.
So yeah,
It's
I
so
need to-
frustrating because I mean I think the age makeup in Oppenheimer and everything in Golda is like examples of some of the worst in that the industry has to offer.
agreed.
But both are probably getting in because they love old people makeup so much.
Yep.
Even though
Yeah.
Oppenheimer's is worse than like A Beautiful Mind at the end.
I was gonna say it's on par with A Beautiful Mind.
It's so the scenes are so identical. It blows my mind.
Yeah.
Which is sort of why I went against the grain with Beau is Afraid, because there is so much aging makeup on Joaquin Phoenix that it's a really good example of it. And I feel like it could happen, but it hasn't gotten in anywhere else. It would have to just happen.
Right.
I mean, it came out and I was reading like reviews for it where they were like, this is a career killer for everybody involved. And I'm like, all right.
I loved it.
Okay.
It was one of my favorites of the year. I think.
Yeah.
It's
I never got around it because someone's in it whose career and existence I do not acknowledge. But
it's on Paramount Plus right now.
But I'm aware that it actually does exist.
Oh my God, Jessica.
I just need to find 3 hours of courage to sit down and actually watch it.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Is it like 3 hours?
Yeah, it's 3 hours.
Yeah.
If it actually gets in.
But I like the director,
Maybe.
so that's why
I'll sit down and
it's wackadoo.
Yeah.
I loved it.
And I like that. I like Ari. Is it Ari Aster? Is that
Yeah.
And I've liked his last two. So
no, me too. I just
It's an eclectic cast too.
It sure is. Anyway,
on to
visual effects. Eric, what do you have?
I know I'm gonna be wrong about this. But I have The Creator, Guardians of the Galaxy, Spider-Man Across the Universe, Society of the Snow, and Godzilla -1.
Okay, so I have the same 5. I just want to say that Godzilla should win Best Picture. And Rob, what do you have?
Okay, so a repeat of cinema. What was the category that we all agreed on? Was that production design?
That was production design.
Okay, so we are 5 for 5 again with The Creator, Guardians, Spider-Man, Society of Snow, and Godzilla.
Oh my God. See, the thing about this is that Poor Things should be able to get in here. It'll be the only Best Picture nominee that really has a chance. And Indiana Jones, even though I think a whole shit ton of the visual effects were really bad, I think the de-aging is going to be enough to probably get it in. And if it does, it'll be at the expense of Godzilla and maybe Spider-Man.
If that happens, I will.
Yeah,
something terrible.
the Spider-Man is an interesting one because not was what was the last animated one that got in?
Kubo.
Kubo, right.
It's really, really hard for an animated film to get in here because even within branches,
They don't get it.
They don't have the concept of
They don't get it.
an animated film has cinematography. It also
Mhm.
has production design. It
Mhm.
also has visual effects, and
Mhm.
it's muddy. The waters are very muddy.
Godzilla needs to get in. I will commit crimes if it doesn't. Like shirt.
It needs to for like aw.
Ah,
It needs to for like a dozen reasons. The efficiency and how cheap this movie was to produce, how few people did them, the historical component of a Godzilla movie getting nominated. They're on top of the fact that it's the best of all of that. Like,
Exactly. On top of the fact that it should win.
Yep.
So
I think people are going to be
that.
absolutely. It'll if it gets in, it'll be one of the most like exciting nominations of the day.
I am banking on it. It'd be my favorite thing that happens tomorrow, and I really need it to.
Yeah,
I really need
it'd be
it
fabulous.
It should also get in for like cinematography. It should get in for editing. It should get in for like 10 of these.
Production design, all of the things,
like
all of it.
Thank you. So
these movies are so devalued. They're not undervalued. They're absolutely devalued. And
exactly 98% fresh on Rotten Tomatoes. I just want to say that, you know, like people took it seriously because, you know, as well as it should have. And yeah, it needs to get in here. It really does. Let's jump across the line for adapted screenplay and then original screenplay.
Oh, God.
And then we also have John's nominations for these. I can go first for adapted. So I hate this category because
it's gonna break my fucking heart.
Because Barbie getting like shoved into here ruined my life.
Yep.
But I have American Fiction, Barbie, Oppenheimer, Poor Things, and Zone of Interest. This was a happy medium that I was like, you know what? I'm gonna stop thinking. I'm gonna stop thinking about it. I'm just done. Erik, what do you have?
I hate this category too.
Yeah.
Because I love the Barbie script. It belongs in original. It showing up here effectively is probably realistically going to destroy the chance of a nomination for a film that I really want to be in here.
Yeah.
So I did a little bit of hope dicting in that.
That's okay because I do it later. So yeah.
And I don't. This I think is the only place I did. But I do have some statistics to back it up, so it's not completely delusional. I have Barbie, Oppenheimer, Poor Things, American Fiction, and All of Us Strangers.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, it won LAFCA, which has, although obviously there is not a direct connection or correlation in any way, but statistically, contextually,
makes sense.
Winning that is extremely good for getting into here. But you know, the Barbie factor became a thing, and you know, we still have Killers of the Flower Moon, Zone of Interest, and Origin if someone decides to vote for it.
Rex Fisher.
Wow.
I mean, we'll talk about it later because we'll talk about it later.
Yeah.
Rob, what do you have?
I have American Fiction, Barbie, Killers of the Flower Moon, Oppenheimer, and Poor Things.
Which is also John's 5.
Yeah. I just think Eric Roth seems to always get in. So
that's the proper 5. I think that's the real 5.
That's a serious.
Yeah. No, I agree about the whole All of Us Strangers. That would be amazing. And again, I think I told you guys I just saw it recently.
It was gonna make it in originally.
Except Barbie.
Except shenanigans,
We can't do that.
I think one of the interesting things, at least about this category, is that, I mean, it would actually include Barbie. Oppenheimer All of Us Strangers, Zone of Interest, and Killers of the Flower Moon took Origin took source material that was either nonfiction or completely outside of what the adaptation became. And I think as a writer's branch, obviously they have nominated and rewarded horrible things. But I think looking at this level of difficulty is probably a pretty big factor with some of these. Even though I have Killers out, it's definitely one of those, because the perspective completely changed from the nonfiction book, which was about the FBI investigation, and turning it into the point of view of the Osage. Oppenheimer, same way. Nonfiction book turned into a narrative. Barbie, a completely original creation based on very little elements of source material. All of Us Strangers turns that book completely on its head. Gender, sexuality, the entire third act. Completely. Zone of Interest, Origin, again, nonfiction book turned into a narrative story where the author is a part of the narrative. All of these adaptations, I think, are it makes this one of the best years I think I've ever seen, because the creativity level is so off the charts and cool.
Origin has the same setup as adaptation, essentially. To me. Which I mean, in that sense, I could understand why it gets placed here. But like, the issue to me at the core here is that there's just muddy guidelines and rules in place here, where they need to go back and decide, because of what happened this year, we need to be just clear in terms of what we consider adapted and to what extent additions or changes that get made then alter what the final product is. And because I'm just kind of salty that I had to like shove Barbie in here, because
Me too.
But I will say that Rob and John have the adult version of like what's probably going to happen here, like the serious kind of version of what's probably going to happen. So fair enough. Original. Rob, do you want to go first?
Sure. What do I have? Why don't you, somebody else go? I can't find it. Give me 2 seconds. Somebody go for it. Sorry.
Eric, do you want to go?
Yes. I have The Holdovers, Past Lives, Anatomy of a Fall, May, December, and Saltburn.
All right.
Drama.
Well, I'm going to go with John first. So John has Holdovers, Anatomy of a Fall, Past Lives, Maestro, and Zone of Interest. Is she the voice of reason?
Zone of Interest.
Yes.
She's an adapted, though.
Oh, he put in here. Yeah, no.
Oh.
Whoops. He did put in here, which, I understand why he would.
Sure.
That's what we were saying.
Exactly.
I went in a slightly different direction. So I have Anatomy of a Fall, Holdovers, Past Lives, Saltburn, and Air.
Air is fair.
Because the fifth slot for me was like, any of these would sound unserious, so I'm gonna go with the one that has the most people in it that probably voters know the most and like. Oh, the movie with Viola Davis and Matt Damon. Sure. And that is literally the reasoning behind it. That's it.
Well, and Rob, go ahead and then we'll talk about categories.
So I have Holdovers, Past Lives, Anatomy of a Fall. I do have Saltburn for the Emerald Fennell. So the other one is, I don't know why I'm such a kick on this movie, but I'm also picking Wes Anderson for Asteroid City.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I know.
Cool.
I know. That's
I can see it. I can totally see it.
I as much as I love like Zone of Interest, not Zone of Interest, May December, I don't. We'll get to that later, but I'm not feeling.
I can make a case that May December could deserve to actually win this, but it's not getting in.
No,
because people didn't get it.
Yeah. Well, spoiler alert, I have it getting 0 nominations. Sorry. Sorry, like
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
I think it should get stuff.
It's very possible, yes.
But I don't have it. I have it completely getting skunked. Like I said,
Because
spoiler alert.
it did.
It's just not getting anywhere. I
Like
mean,
the BAFTA like long lists
Yeah, it only
already
only got 2 BAFTA long lists, and it didn't get in.
and
for
zero
either of
SAG
them.
and 0 SAG.
SAG flop.
0
It's like
SAG.
Yeah.
it's hard
It's tough. It's tough.
Screenplay is slightly different, I think, in terms of like, because I think BAFTA and SAG mostly sort of like damaged the cast, where you're like, okay, that's not even Melton, it's like not happening. But screenplay, I could see a chunk of people that actually did like the film shoving it in number 1, and then that's a different conversation.
Yeah, and again, branch by branch, and we do see this category get sole screenplay nominations all the time.
Yes.
I foolishly have 3 within both categories, so that's too many.
It's not foolishly, but I feel like if you told me like it gets 1 nomination, it would be in here.
Yeah, exactly.
So, but what a shame.
I know.
Just flew right over people's heads.
It's my number 2 of the year. I love this movie.
Same, behind Godzilla. But same, it's my number 2 of the year. Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah. All right, let's look at the categories where you just throw stuff at a wall and hope that it sticks. Live action, short. Okay, I just went with the titles that to me sounded Oscar-y. So I have Anne Frank Gift Shop, Good Boy, Invincible, Red, White, and Blue, and Yellow. Sure.
I think I have 2 of those.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's amazing.
Yeah.
I
have Anne Frank, Gift Shop, Red, White, and Blue, The Wonderful Story of Henry Sugar, The After, and Night of Fortune.
Great. I agree.
We're both correct.
Yes. Rob, we would toss like 3 more new titles into this so we can cover all of them.
I didn't do this one, but
Which fair.
I didn't do live action short.
You could look at the short list and just pick 5.
Because that's what I did.
Is there one that has like a really long title, like an ostrich and
My Year of Dicks?
I think is that My Year of Dicks.
My Year of Dicks.
Which we all predicted because we're all gay and it got in. So
or
well, except for Rob. Did you have My Year of Dicks in though, Rob? Did you predict it
in our predictions last year?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, see?
I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
How can you resist that title?
Or A Year of Dicks itself.
Exactly.
How can you resist? Yeah.
And who presented that category at the Oscars?
Riz Ahmed, and all I care about is Riz Ahmed saying it at the nomination announcement.
Yes.
So he did the nominations, and he also presented at the Oscars.
No, I don't remember who presented it.
I don't remember, but it wasn't him.
I remember we wanted Jennifer Coolidge to do
it. My Year of Dicks.
Right, exactly.
That would have been funnier than Riz Ahmed.
Well.
We should produce like the telecast. They should just give it to like us.
Yeah.
I totally agree.
Okay, so documentary short, which okay. I'm gonna go first.
Okay.
Black Girls Play, Camp Courage, Last Song from Kabul, Oasis, and Wings of Dust. Because they all sound like they could be nominated.
This is actually a category where I feel really strongly about my top 3.
Okay.
And I did actually have Black Girls Play in earlier, but took it out. But my top 3 are The Last Repair Shop, Deciding Vote, and the ABCs of Book Banning. All way too topical to miss. I think. And then The Barber of Little Rock and Last Song of Kabul.
Okay, so we have 1 out of 5, which means that
Yeah.
we are correct.
Yeah,
We're correct.
I love it. I love being right.
Yeah. Rob, did you do this?
Okay, so no, I did not.
Which is fine because you know what? We pretty
You're also
much
right.
But I'll
we
do like
mentioned
I'll take
we
2
mentioned
of
all of
Eric's
them.
and 3 of yours, and then
Okay.
between that we'll have it. All
We
right.
Perfect.
mentioned all of them pretty much, so we are correct.
There you
And
go. We
go
got it.
us. Documentary feature. Okay, I did put some thought into this actually.
Oh, this category.
Eric, you want to go first?
Yes, because
Okay.
I feel pretty good. Well, I feel really good about 3, kind of good about
Okay.
4,
I feel good about 2,
but not about 5 as a whole.
yeah.
American Symphony, 20 Days in Mariupol, Beyond Utopia, 4 Daughters, and The Eternal Memory.
Okay, so we have 4 out of 5.
Whoo!
I think the one that we differ, I am not sure about its eligibility, but we'll talk about it.
Oh,
I have 20 Days, American Symphony, Beyond Utopia, Eternal Memory, and the Michael J. Fox movie. Is that
it's eligible
because it's in there,
yes,
and
it's
it did
eligible.
get into the Emmys.
Well, this is the funny thing, and since they did not make any last second change right before voting,
Or announcements, as far as I know.
it would not have been eligible
Right, because it got into the Emmys.
because it won.
Because it won.
You can get in and miss and still,
Oh,
yeah.
that's odd.
It's and it's actually not exactly the same like reciprocal. But I mean, if the Emmys had happened in September like they were supposed to, it would have won then, and then
there would have been more time to kind of like
it would have
say,
been ineligible because the
Yeah.
short list wouldn't have been announced for 3 more months.
Exactly. But that didn't happen. Nobody has said a word about it. So
I'm sticking with the Critics' Choice curse,
sure.
which this movie won,
Yeah.
as well as their aversion to essentially just starry biopics
Yeah.
as documentaries.
Which I mean, 20 Days is gonna win. So it doesn't, I don't think it really
It's either 20
matters.
Days or American Symphony, but
Yeah. Rob, what do you have?
I have most similar to you guys, pretty much. American Symphony, Beyond Utopia, 20 Days in Mariupol, 4 Daughters, and then went one of those really random ones and said, "Oh, this one sounds like this would be kind of interesting." Desperate Souls, Dark City, and the Legend of the Midnight Cowboy. I like that title, so I went with
Yeah.
that's in my last place.
And again, haven't seen it, although I was looking at A Still Small Voice. That sounds very, very, documentary, but I'd like the Midnight Cowboy.
There's like some titles where you can like just hear it, like you can hear the presenter saying it on stage. I'm like,
Right.
yeah, that makes
Yeah.
sense. And
Yeah.
that is my criteria here. Yeah.
Yep.
This is also a category that has an enormous amount of precursors and some that
Yes.
are pretty substantial.
With good overlap and everything. Yeah.
Really good overlap.
Yeah.
The PGA nominees are why I have the top 3 that I have.
Yeah.
Because it's American Symphony, 20 Days, and Beyond Utopia. Those are as locked as I think as this category can get. But then there's Cinema Eye Honors and 32 Sounds won that. It should probably be in here above Eternal Memory for me. And then Bobby won. The People's President won International Documentary Association. So it feels like both those should be in
there. Yeah.
But the PGA, I'm just looking at that.
That's mostly what I went off of.
Yeah, the Michael J. Fox movie didn't even make it into PGA.
Yeah, which
it's
I just feel like it's such a baity movie though for what it is.
It's a big hurdle for this branch to do it because they have shown so much in the last 10 years that they hate front runners.
Yeah.
And anything that wins the CCA. They didn't even shortlist Goodnight Oppie last year.
Well, they do it on purpose.
And it's very, very intentional.
Yeah, your tone seems pointed right now, that kind of situation. Yeah. So it is what it is.
Yeah.
But I think between among the three of us, we are correct, probably.
We are
So
again.
that's-
Yes.
Yeah, that's all that matters.
It is-
Okay, animated short. Again, just throwing darts at a dartboard. Okay, I'm gonna go first. Just because my reasoning behind this is that, you know, there's no reasoning behind it. I'm hip. Letter to a Pig. Once Upon a Studio. Pete, and War is Over.
I like it.
Pretty good.
I like
Pretty
it.
good.
Yeah.
What do you have?
I have Once Upon a Studio, Dog Apartment, Pachyderm, Letter to a Pig, and 95 Senses. Which means
Again,
there's 3 out of 5 animals here.
and again, we are correct because these
Yeah.
are pretty much all of them.
Congratulations to
Congratulations,
us. all.
us.
The
Rob,
whole
did you do this one?
I didn't do this one, but I like the pachyderm, letter to a pig, the dog. So I like all those, anything animal. So I'm gonna go with
Yeah.
those, and then
Yeah.
2 of yours, and you pick the 2, and
Okay.
we got it
Yeah.
all.
There you go.
We aced it. All right. Animated feature.
I definitely did this one.
Okay, I'm gonna go last because I'm interested in how you guys went about this one. Rob.
Sure. I've got Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, The Boy and the Heron, Nimona, Elemental, and here's my, as much as I would love to say Robot Dreams, I'm gonna put the second highest grossing motion picture of 2023, and that would be the Super Mario's Brothers movie. I think they're gonna, I don't reward it, give it something, even, and I never saw it, but and that's only my rationale, other than nothing. I thought maybe Ninja Turtles, but
If you're gonna have it in, that is the reason why you put it in.
exactly, not for that it was quality and it was fantastic. I never saw it, but I'm still shocked that that thing made 575 million domestic.
Yeah.
Just second to Barbie. So that's the only reason I'm putting it in.
Erik, what do you have?
So I have the same top 4 as you, Rob. I do actually have Robot Dreams in, which I think is pretty close to wishful thinking because Universal and Illumination are so solid in this category. So Super Mario Brothers should be here.
Mm-hmm.
And it got PGA and Annie. It weirdly doesn't make sense for it not to be here, but
Right.
Here we are.
No,
Yeah.
I mean, I would love for Robot, but again, that's just my thought.
So I think I'm at 3 out of 5. I think. I can't count. I'm not a scientist. But I have The Boy and the Heron, Elemental, Spider-Man, Super Mario, and Suzume.
Oh,
Yes,
Oh.
which I saw and loved.
it's got Annie and Golden Globe.
And it got into the Annie. So I was like, I saw it. It's actually phenomenal.
Okay.
I got into the Annies. Why not take that leap of faith? Why not?
It's a great choice.
It's a great choice.
Thank you.
I went totally safe. So
Am I 100%? No. But that hasn't stopped me before from being wrong. So, you know how it is.
wrong is right.
I don't know what's winning, and I am fearful that it could actually be Super Mario. But I'm gonna say probably Spider-Man down the line even says, but yeah, I'm not
Poor
sure.
boy.
I know.
Yeah, we know that.
I know it's just between those two.
It's really weird that BAFTA only has 4 slots for animated. It doesn't really make any sense.
Was that because I
And
picked up on that
Chicken
too.
Run made it.
Oh, it did.
Yeah.
Oh, well, it's British.
Do they have 4 because that's just the category, or
Yeah.
was there like, oh, that's just the category?
Yeah,
Okay.
it's stupid. It's stupid.
That doesn't
And
make
I've
any
seen a
sense.
lot of people predicting Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is a great movie. I really, really like it.
Yeah.
In my mind, it's so completely competitive with the style of Spider-Man
Right.
because
Yeah.
it's identical.
It's the same thing. Yeah.
And I don't know how that helps it. It feels like it hurts it.
Well, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm thinking about it now.
I'm going to stick with my 5.
I want to stick with my 5. Because I would have to take out Suzume, and I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
I just don't want to.
Yeah, I know Logic should have Super Mario Brothers in there, but I'm sticking with Robot Dreams.
Right on.
I hope that,
And I hope
yeah.
you're right.
Yeah, me too. So, okay, me too. I hope you're right. And I hope that we're wrong.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
All right. Foreign film.
Oh,
Oh,
I'm gonna go first because I have opinions.
okay.
Okay. 20 Days of Mariupol, Americazzi, Io Capitano, Society of the Snow, and Zone of Interest. Eric,
I also have Americazzi,
because it's a correct pick. Because
and
it's gonna make it in.
I'm so glad you have it, because in looking at everybody else's predictions and other outlets and stuff, I'm completely like on the outside of this. But
People are not reading what's actually happening.
yeah, and I've also in the few weeks that I was in LA at multiple events, this movie got brought up in conversation that was not even about it at all. And I know it sort of feels a little old-fashioned. It's a little saccharine and maybe more like 2001 era of this category. But there are still voters from 2001 that love this kind of movie.
Most of them are from like the early 90s, like the early, like, So
it does have a really good little stealthy campaign.
Yeah.
It is in my 5th spot because I'm always hedging my bets here.
Yeah.
But what I have in order for the rest is Zone of Interest, Society of the Snow, The Teacher's Lounge, and 20 Days of Mariupol.
Yeah.
Sorry, Taste of Things.
Well, France should just be sorry for shooting themselves in the foot and not sending the movie that would have won this.
It would have been just absolutely just destroyed this category.
Would have been a no-brainer.
So congratulations, Zone of Interest.
Well done. Yeah.
You are going to be the winner.
And I do not have a problem with that whatsoever.
Absolutely not.
No problem at all. Rob, what do you have?
I have 4 of the 5 that Eric has: the Zone of Interest, Society of Snow, 20 Days of Mariupol, Americazzi. But I do have A Taste of Things.
Okay.
I just
want to.
I mean,
it's a good
no Bebby's feast, but
yeah.
it's a very lovely film about cooking.
It's gorgeous. I love the film.
No. I just want to say that Armenia is like on the cusp of being like in Europe. So there's like, it's one of those, but the last time that 5 European movies made it in was 1996.
I thought
that needs to be brought up.
This was such a huge part in shaping all of this. And then obviously, of course, the shortlist itself did that.
Yeah.
Because yes, Armenia and Ukraine are Eurasia.
Sure.
It is one of the stronger Eurocentric years we've had in a long time.
Yeah.
And I just want to say Armenia is in Eurovision.
Yes. So if we're looking outside of that, we have Tunisia, Morocco, Mexico, and Bhutan.
And Bhutan is what I think would then trip one of these movies.
Well, it was an easy call to get the short list after Lunana, but I don't think this has the flair and the fun of Lunana.
Yeah, it would be just on the name recognition of the director.
Yes, and you know, Mother of All Lies and Four Daughters have the documentary crossover, but 20 Days of Mariupol is that bitch.
Yeah.
So
absolutely.
That's happening there.
Totem 2, honestly, I thought about.
Yeah, me too.
But it seems like the discussion about it kind of like fizzled out.
Yep.
The conversation was there, but you know.
It's driving me crazy when I look at my list, and it is so Eurocentric. You're right.
I mean, not to say that. I mean, it's been 1996, but like, not to say that it can't happen again. Because the further we move from that date, the more likely it is to happen again. But it's been a minute. It has been a minute, and I think that was worth bringing up because there are movies outside of Europe that were also great.
Yeah.
And yeah. All right. Are we ready for the
Yeah.
big ones?
Oh,
Yes.
Let's do
Okay.
it.
Let's start from supporting actress. And Rob,
Hang on.
what do you have in there?
I have Emily Blunt in Oppenheimer,
Mhm,
Danielle Brooks in The Color Purple,
mhm,
Jodie Foster in Naiad,
mm.
Divine Joy Randolph in The Holdovers, and Penelope Cruz in Ferrari.
All right. Okay, so I'm gonna go with John's predictions. He is predicting Randolph, Blunt, Brooks, Cruz, and Sandra Huller.
Ooh.
Erik, what do you?
I went with Rob and the SAG 5, which does not feel right. So I mean, none really matters because it's Divine Joy Randolph and 4 other people.
Right.
It can be any 4 other people.
Yeah.
And it won't matter. But yeah, Randolph, Blunt, Brooks, Foster, Cruz. Although, even though Brooks has gotten everything,
Mhm.
because the movie has done just so miserably guild wise, although it did get
Yeah.
SAG cast, she feels so absolutely on the cusp
Yeah.
here, just like terrifyingly so. And when you have, like Julianne Moore, Sandra Hüller, and Rosamund Pike right there, or America Ferrera, if they go really crazy for Barbie, it's really easy then to kind of chip away at Cruz, Foster, and Brooks.
Yeah. I have Blunt, Brooks, Cruz, Fuller, and Randolph. So I think I matched John. And
Yeah.
honestly, I had told myself before BAFTA, if Sandra Hüller makes it in here, then I'll put her in. And she did. And that's why I took Foster. Yeah.
I'm just
Yeah.
having such a hard time with someone who is not um, a household name to get 2 nominations, as opposed to 2 household names like Cruz and Foster. And I'm going on the, and you'll find out when we do Best Picture.
But
My other law. I'm just having, and you guys have to like convince me why I just don't think international is going to do double in major categories. You have to like convince me that I'm wrong. But right now I keep going like I just don't see 2. Again, spoiler alert, when we get to picture, I don't see 2 international getting in for picture. I don't see 2.
mhm.
I don't see an international actress getting 2 nominations.
Well, it's
Again,
never
I'm
happened.
right, and I know, and because a lot of times I'm saying, well, every year is different and stats change and blah 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 every year, and so I'm contradicting myself this year because every year I'm always going with like, well, it's got to happen sometime, you know.
Well, I will say that to that, not to like to offer a counterpoint because I agree with what you're saying. But so Sandra Hüller, not as known here, she absolutely is that bitch in here. First of all,
Sure.
like
Oh
everybody knows
yeah,
her.
exactly.
Everybody knows her.
Oh, I know. Right.
I do think that you want to consider the possibility that Zone and Anatomy are both in for picture. So this is also the first time that someone who's not that known over here is in a situation where she's into Best Picture contenders.
Mm-hmm.
That's never happened either, but it is happening with her.
Okay.
And she won the European Oscar for both. And she got in a BAFTA for both.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that if you were to make a case that it could happen for someone who's not a household name, this is what needed to happen for that person to make it in, and it happened.
I'm right with you.
That's it.
I hear your logic, and it totally makes sense. I just don't I'm just gonna stick with this, and hopefully you'll be right.
I also want to say that, am I 100%? No. Is
Right.
it this, is it like my opinion over my gay opinion? No. But, but I'd rather be wrong, and still predict her off of what makes sense to me than just, not give her the benefit of the doubt.
No, it's a solid prediction because it even way back when, like 3, 4, 5 months ago, they had been predicting early on that she was going to get a double nomination. There was a lot of that.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, you're
I mean,
you're definitely in line.
the movies were 1-2 at Cannes,
Mhm.
Yeah,
and
1-2. Yeah.
and honestly, the only reason why she probably didn't win Best Actress
Is a stupid rule. Again.
because the rule is stupid. But I don't think there's ever been anyone more likely to be able to earn 2 acting nominations for international performances than her. This has been kind of the conversation all year long, is
Yep.
these 2 films.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So even though I don't have her in, I think I have her at 7th, just below Julianne Moore. She makes perfect sense. She makes more sense than Foster and Cruz to me. So
It's also a situation where she's really the female lead in Zone of Interest,
Yeah.
and she got bumped down to supporting, but it is a meaty role.
she is terrifying in that film. Just terrifying, purely
Yeah.
terrifying.
Nurse Ratched levels of
Oh, like
Yeah.
so much worse. Like my
Yeah.
husband could have you gassed is like, I'm sorry. Has there ever been a more like terrifying threat ever?
Mhm.
Oh, God.
Mhm. Yeah.
No,
I would also love it. I would love.
I would too.
Oh,
but
I mean,
I'm
yeah.
I would also love BAFTA nominee Claire Foy to get in for All of Us
Oh,
Strangers.
she was
I would
so-
love
she was
BAFTA
so
nominee and Golden Globe nominee Rosamund Pike to get in for Saltburn.
yeah, she was
There's
fun.
there's not enough slots.
You know
Yeah.
who's not
There
getting
isn't.
We're gonna lose like a couple of good performances,
Yeah,
Oh,
in
Yeah.
favor of Emily Blunt.
which I'm happy for her because I love her. She has one scene.
And it's terrible. I hate it. It's my least favorite scene in the whole movie. I think
One scene.
she's terrible in it.
this
But-
is it's a makeup nomination, and she's going to be part of the big
Yeah.
behemoth Oppenheimer.
But it feels like a waste because she's not gonna win anyway.
Right.
It would have been different. It would have been different if it was like a year where, the movie is so, but it's kind of like a crowning, like career achievement kind of. She's not gonna win.
No, she's not going to win. She's not winning.
So does it really, like, you snubbed her for amazing work, and now
Yeah.
it needs to happen for this?
Yeah.
But that happens a lot,
Oh no, it's it's her MO. Yeah.
unfortunately.
But we had to say it.
But they're not going. I just don't see her getting snubbed.
No.
Yeah, this category has the potential for a lineup that is like practically all timer. I mean, if we had like Julianne Moore, Sandra Hüller, Rosamund Pike, Claire Foy,
Mhm.
and like almost anybody else, all timer lineup.
I will also say this, that there's obviously Randolph's going to win, and she is such a front runner that shenanigans might happen in terms
That's
of like,
exactly why they're
Yeah.
going to happen. She's
Yeah.
going to. So many votes are going to go to her.
yeah.
Everyone else is are just scraps.
It's like the chaos of vote reallocation after she gets all those number ones. I'm not sure what's going to happen.
Exactly.
I'm not sure what's going to happen.
Anything could happen, which is why I know my top 5 is not happening.
So, yeah. I would imagine that Hüller is in a number of ballots. If she's in there, she's probably in the top 3. It's not someone you include at number 5 if you like the movie and you liked her.
Mhm.
And there's going to be a lot of movement after the first round is done and Randolph is in. That we're going to see shenanigans.
Yeah, and it's
We
also
are.
pretty easy to dismiss SAG, who never goes for international performances anyway.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah. That was never a factor for me.
No.
I mean, I think I said it in one of the episodes where I was like, she's not getting it at SAG and it's not going to matter. So,
Right.
yeah. Um, okay. Supporting actor, which honestly has been such a journey. Because, yeah. I'll go. Actually, let's have John go first and just throw him under
Yes.
the bus because he's not here. So John is predicting Robert Downey Jr., Ryan Gosling, Robert De Niro, Willem Dafoe, and Mark Ruffalo.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
it is not a match for me.
Interesting.
Erik, what do you have?
I have Robert Downey Jr., who's going to
Mhm,
win this
mhm,
category, unfortunately.
mhm.
Ryan Gosling, Robert De Niro, Willem Dafoe, and Dominic Sessa.
I have your five.
The inclusion of Sessa only
Yeah,
with my final predictions. He was never in
same.
the top five
No,
until now, and it's not just the BAFTA. It obviously helps that he has that
it's
number.
campaigning.
It is fantastic campaigning.
Yeah.
It is right place, right time, and the movie is through the roof.
Yeah.
And it's a co-lead and a
Oh yeah.
first film performance. And it's amazing. It's the best
I
performance.
didn't look
Oh,
at Screen Time Central, so I don't know in terms of like screen time how they match, but I would say they're pretty evenly matched.
He had like 30 seconds less than Giamatti. No,
Shut up.
but
no, but
I'm kidding. I'm
Oh,
kidding.
okay.
it's a very co-lead performance.
It's fairly close, right? If I remember
Yeah.
correctly. I think I saw it a while back.
Okay. Erik, what do you have?
That was I just gave
Oh, okay. Rob, what do you have?
I have Eric's exact same.
Oh,
Robert Downey, Ryan Gosling, Robert De Niro, Defoe, and I have Sessa too. And I think he hit right at the sweet spot, right when right when that movie came out, and there was high buzz. And like you said, he was making the circuits, and it just doesn't feel right to nominate Giamatti, Randolph, and not him, because he was such core to the film. Even though yes, it's a co-lead, he's going to Timothy Hutton his way into a nomination. But I think the buzz around that performance in that movie was right at the right time. That's why I think he's getting it.
Yeah.
so John, what? No, I mean, Ruffalo to me does make sense just on name recognition, but he missed everywhere. Like he ended up missing everywhere.
He got
the Globe now.
The Poor Things guys thing is so weird.
Bizarre.
Is so weird.
And I think it could be indicative of the movie not being as hot as we thought it might have been originally.
Just to correct myself, Ruffalo got Critics' Choice and Golden Globe. Defoe's the one that got sacked.
Yeah.
The thing about the two in is that we had this 25-year period where it didn't happen, and then we had 4 years in a row with two supporting actors getting in. Just bam, 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 bam. But they were able to be mostly in lockstep with each other most of the time. And even Jesse Plemons, who wasn't in the year of Power of the Dog with Cody Smith-McPhee, you could see it. You could see it happening. The tea leaves were there. It does not feel that way for Ruffalo and Dafoe.
Does it feel that way for Downey Jr. and Matt Damon? Because I'm very concerned. Very concerned.
Again, then it would have needed to be the way that Sam Rockwell and Woody Harrelson were, where Rockwell got everything and won everything, and Harrelson was
always like a step behind. Yeah.
But he was enough behind, but he was enough in it by being the coattail of the winner. Why has Matt Damon been completely ignored here? It seems
I was going to say he hasn't been in the conversation.
Because as big as that ensemble is, he has the biggest second part. for
He's the
supporting player.
biggest supporting player in it. I think
Yeah.
even more so than Blunt.
Oh,
'Cause
way
Blunt
more.
is like in the
Oh, yeah.
background, but yeah.
Yeah, Damon gets to be funny, yell. He has
Yeah.
like all of
Yeah.
the pieces that should have put him in here.
I think everybody was just too fixated on Robert Downey Jr.
Who's not even the like fifth best.
He's not even in it until like the last 20 minutes, really. Like doing anything of substance, I would say.
Well, even then, I wouldn't know if I would call it that, but
Yeah, no, I mean, I
In it.
totally agree. This is not a win that's going to happen out of like the merits of the performance. It's
and
just,
he
yeah.
even in his speeches has already not that he's acknowledged it, but he's like he knows that this
He's
is
not stupid. He's not
this is a
stupid.
career thing,
Yeah,
and he's recognized it. It's
absolutely.
kind of fun.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
He's been pleasantly snarky in his acceptance speeches.
Yeah,
I'm glad that we all have Sessa because I think we're right.
I think that's going to be the
timing is everything.
absolutely absolutely, and I think he hit right at the right time when that performance and movie was getting noticed.
And he was
and
at
a lot of it was
every
like
party.
this,
he was doing everything just
and
at
the
the
thing
right
was
time.
like, and that was his first acting gig. I think a lot of people were blown away by that. Like, oh, you only have like high school plays that you did before this. So yeah, I think there's a lot.
Yeah, yes. Okay.
Yeah.
Actress. I'm going rogue here.
Oh my
I love
I'm shocked.
I'm
I
going
love it.
rogue. But I have a reason as to why I'm going rogue.
Okay.
So I'm gonna go first just to get out of the way.
Do it.
Okay. I have Annette Bening.
Oh,
Yeah. I have Lily Gladstone, Sandra Huller, Emma Stone, and Anjanou Ellis-Taylor.
bitch.
Oh wow.
Because last year,
I'm getting deja vu from last year.
who was the only person that predicted the shenanigans of Too Leslie to happen? It was me. Who was right? It was me. I earned the right to bullshit this category this year.
You absolutely do.
Thank you. Erik. We match what, 2 out of 5?
I think we're 3, but it's
Okay.
wow. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I have Emma Stone, Lily Gladstone, Sandra Huller, Carey Mulligan, and Margot Robbie.
Yes. That is the adult.
And it's weirdly enough, because it's a category that's I've been constantly moving around the parts, especially 5. I felt pretty good about the first 4, but 5, I was like, this could be anyone. This could be so many
5
people.
5 is in 5, like Robbie is your number 5?
Robbie is my number 5.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's I feel more comfortable than I think I thought I was going to when I was putting the predictions together.
Mm-hmm.
The thing about Ellis-Taylor for me, which is so very, very, very different than what happened last year.
Yeah.
Was the focus to get Riseborough the nomination was the singular focus. And it started like 2 weeks before voting.
Yeah.
So everything was in place for it to happen. And the weird thing about Origin is that nothing happened until those 5 days of voting. And it was like, is this for picture? Is this for Ellis-Taylor? Is this for the screenplay? It's so it never coalesced into something that was a call to action the way that last year was. I'd love for it to happen. I think she's fantastic.
I would say it coalesced into it getting the script nomination. So
yeah,
I mean,
that was pretty great.
That happened. So it's on the map.
Yeah,
people know that it exists.
Yeah.
I think what happened is that it is comparable to what happened last year in terms of like mobilizing people, but it happened behind the scenes as opposed to everybody talking about it, because I think they wanted to be a little more subtle about it, because obviously it drew a lot of criticism last year.
Well, they changed and added rules, so they had to be
Right.
more careful about how they did
Yeah.
it. You can't say don't vote for these people like Frances Fisher did.
Right. I think she went about it the way she should have gone about it last year. Um, is it gonna happen? Probably not. Could it happen? It happened last year.
Mm-hmm.
So
It absolutely could happen. This is a really fluid category.
and honestly, I haven't seen the movie. I have the screening for it, but I haven't seen it yet. Based on the trailer, you can tell she's fucking amazing.
She's phenomenal. It's a great film. I think it's
Yeah.
I think it's fantastic.
So I just want to put that out there. Rob, who do you have?
I think I have this Erik same five.
Yeah.
Stone, Gladstone, Hewler, Mulligan, Robbie. I put on my big boy pants and went for what I think is probably seems the more logical.
Yeah.
But
And John agrees with you both, by the way.
okay.
John has the same 5.
Wow.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't shock. And I thought Benning, but who would she kick out?
Well, I mean,
Mulligan?
I don't think Mulligan, no.
I don't see Robbie getting snubbed. I
had her snubbed like for several months, and then at the last minute, I was just like,
I
had her snubbed for the whole
so fucked up if
the whole
got...
season. I never predicted her, and I don't want to be in a situation where, like I did with Gaga and Gucci, I put her in at the last minute because of fucking BAFTA.
Yeah,
and then she missed.
You and I did the same thing. I had her out.
I am so pissed.
Even when she got BAFTA, everything constantly. I was like, nope, she's not getting in. And then by the last half second, I threw her in it.
Yes.
That was me and Villeneuve for Dune. I had him getting snubbed for director, and then I stuck him in at the last minute.
I'm never going to do that again. Yes. 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 I'd rather be wrong at this point.
Well, we also we don't have enough years of BAFTA's new voting structure, which keeps changing.
It's a mess.
Single year. Yeah. So now now there's 6 slots for one, and everyone's doing that now, and I hate it so much. But we've got 3 plurality votes, popular votes, and 3 jury saves. So every single one of us looked at all these acting categories and said, here are the 3 jury saves. Here are the 3 populars. It's not always really that easy. Sometimes it kind of is, but let's just look for a second at BAFTA's 6, which was Mulligan, Robbie, Stone, Hewler, Fantasia Barrino, and Vivian Oparah. So Lily Gladstone snubbed here.
Somehow, yeah.
Amazingly. Who are the 3 jury picks here? Because knowing BAFTA well enough and how racist they are and the whole purpose of this jury saving anyway, Barrino and Oparah are 2 of the 3 jury saves.
Yes.
Pretty easily.
Yeah.
Yes.
So who is the 3rd? Is it Robbie?
It's Robbie.
It's Robbie.
Mm-hmm. It is.
It's Robbie.
Which is so crazy because 10 people thought that Robbie was so in danger of not getting in that they had to save her. Weird, right?
But it's her. It has to be her.
It does. Barbie was a total flop at BAFTA.
It was a flop, but also like I have to wonder if the jurors know ahead of time who's actually made it in, because the Gladstone snub to me is jurors thinking that she is in, not having to worry about her, and let's look at other people. And then she didn't make it in, and the jurors did not know that they needed to fix that, and they didn't.
I do believe that they do. I'd have to go back into the rules, because I mean, yeah, otherwise, you know, if the jury just picked people that were already in, how does
it doesn't make sense. But I mean, it's to me, it is baffling that she would not be in just on votes.
So baffling. The thing that I was floating around a little bit, just as a little chaos monster, was the season-long conversation of, is Gladstone supporting her lead?
Yeah.
And and then Lafka came in and really caused a big mess.
They did that
with saying she's going to be in the supporting section. And then even then, she was a runner-up. Didn't even win that. The shade was beyond scope. But anyone that knows me knows how much I think vote splitting is not real, because it's not, because people never use it correctly. They use it to kind of like defend a narrative. This is a case where vote splitting is and can be real. If she gets more votes in supporting than lead, and then that's enough to get into supporting, she's in that category.
People need to understand that vote splitting does not happen between people. It happens between categories.
Between categories?
If it happens.
Yes, exactly. It doesn't even happen, film to film, because, an actor can't be nominated 2 times in one category.
Exactly. Which doesn't make sense, but by the way.
It doesn't. But that's how we got like the DiCaprio 2006 year with Departed and Blood Diamond. But there is a scenario in which Gladstone doesn't get enough votes in either category.
Correct.
To get in. I don't think it's going to happen, but it is possible.
It happened at BAFTA.
I think it happened at BAFTA.
I think that's what happened at BAFTA. And BAFTA is the place where people historically get moved around, because BAFTA does not give a shit. They'll put Bernice Bejo in lead because they do that kind of stuff, right? So exactly. So I think that for her to miss in both lead and supporting is concerning. I'm certainly not going to take her out of my 5, because I'm not insane, but I mean, this is what happened at BAFTA. She split her votes.
To that point, though, Killers missed screenplay and director too. So that means, Scorsese was not a top 3 vote getter, nor was he a jury save. So that movie had big misses where it absolutely should not have. So she could have been just really kind of a part of that, but I think we are.
But De Niro then didn't.
Yeah, I think we're looking at the scenario that we're talking about, and that is votes in both and not enough in either.
Yeah.
Okay.
I still think she's in, but this is what happened here. If we needed to explain how and why, okay, actor.
This category.
I hate this category all of a sudden.
It's really gonna break my heart.
No, it's fine.
I
can go.
I'm gonna go first.
Go for it.
Because I have stuff here happening. Okay, so Bradley Cooper, Paul Giamatti, Cillian Murphy. And then, so this is where things got a little muddy for me, and I thought long and hard about everybody who was left in the list. And the 2 people that make sense to me at this point are Wright and Scott. And that's what I'm predicting.
Awesome. I love it.
Rob, who do you have?
I have Giamatti, Murphy, Cooper, Wright, and then I have Coleman Domingo. As much as I love Scott, I'm bummed that he just isn't, other than a few things, he's just not getting the traction, unfortunately. But I would love it. I would love him to pull a Mescal. I mean, I think we were all last year saying Mescal was going to get in, and he got in. So as much as I would like to see lightning strike twice, and
Mescal did make it into BAFTA. That was
Mescal did make it into BAFTA.
Yes.
I just think it's 2 different things. So unfortunately, but I'm going with that crew.
John is predicting Murphy, Giamatti, Cooper, Domingo, and Wright.
Okay.
So I think you're matching more or less.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Eric, who do you have?
I have that same 5: Giamatti, Murphy, Cooper, Domingo, and Wright. Andrew Scott missing BAFTA when Claire Foy and Paul Mescal made it in. Whether it was because
it was
3 or a jury save is indefensible.
Yeah. It does not make any sense.
No,
They need to fix their voting.
It's the BAFTA lineup is really neat because it has Teo Yo and Barry Keoghan,
Yeah.
which I love. Those are great nominations.
Sure. Yeah.
But for Scott not to make it in when the film got in casting, director,
7 nominations.
I'm just like,
Got more nominations than Barbie.
what is missing here? It makes me think of the Biffas where it won 7 and Scott still lost. How does that even happen? How does that happen? The only thing he has in his favor is that National Society of Film Critics win, which is it's a top tier trifecta win.
And he got in on the Globes.
And he got a nomination for the Globes.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah.
The reason why sorry, go ahead.
I know that there was a very big visibility problem with the film, with screeners and things like that. That was a very real thing. Except for the International Cinephile Society, where it did very, very well. Congrats. But we're also talking about, and I guess all of us have DiCaprio missing.
Yeah.
Yes.
He is a very real factor. I have him actually ahead of Scott because there's no reason why the voters can't just name check him.
And the movie is stronger.
And the movie will be stronger, and he's a movie star. So it's like, why would all these other people just get in over him? Why would Coleman Domingo get in over him?
I would say that if people are voting for Scott, they're voting for him in number 1. DiCaprio is like your number 5, like filler vote.
Yeah. And I mean, I'm also completely absorbed by the openly gay actors playing gay characters thing, and
that's the other thing.
The history of
I wanted both gays to make it in.
Is so it's only happened once.
Right.
Ever.
I wanted both gays to make it in. I just don't have room for Domingo, and that movie does not exist apart from him.
Well,
it doesn't exist. It's out there. You can watch it, but what is it done? It's like
Rustin was a movie, and Naiad as well, that suffered the most from the strikes.
Yeah.
Because they both debuted in early September at Telluride when strikes was still in the heat of it. And so they were not able to get out there and promote the film and be in all of these rooms. And then their films came out before the strike ended as well. And so they've been playing catch up ever since. The whole, Annette Bening getting her Telluride medallion in January is so
I'm glad for her. I'm glad for her.
I'm glad for her because I really like her, but
sure, same.
It was just one of those things that I don't like it. I don't like how
it was one of those things where like her PR people were like, could we make this happen?
Yeah, it was so shady and weird.
Yeah.
But yeah, anyway.
I mean, DiCaprio is, if his name is announced, I would not be shocked.
No.
No.
And I would see Domingo as being the one that would probably be the sacrificial lamb in this.
Correct.
And the reason that would be it, and it's one of those where the performance is better than the film. I thought the film was just okay. I thought it was a little bit too paint by numbers, but I thought he was fantastic. I see your expression, Erik. Sorry. But
I think it's one of his worst performances ever. I think it is absolute garbage.
Oh, interesting. I really liked him. I thought, and maybe because I didn't think the film was that good, I thought, okay, well, at least he was interesting.
He's got in
As I
everything.
say, it's a French fried potato performance, so it's like
Oh, that's funny.
Sling Blade like times 10.
Uh-huh.
I absolutely despise the performance. I think it's terrible.
He got in
Okay.
everywhere, but of the two gays, Scott has the stronger movie
Oh my God. And the best performance of a
by a
lead
mile.
actor this
Yeah,
year. I mean,
yeah,
that's just incredible what he did in that film.
It's it's not impossible for Scott to get in, but it would be absolutely weird. And it's
oh yeah.
the Paul Mescal comparison is so far from a 1-to-1 because
Right.
No, it's not.
After
Yeah,
Sun was simply
it's
doing
not.
so much better
There's no comparison. Yeah, no,
than
there's
Strangers.
yeah.
So oh God. It'll break my heart.
Yeah.
But if both Domingo and Scott miss, I swear to
Yeah,
God,
again, alchemy crimes. Yeah.
yeah,
Christ.
it will, yeah, and nobody will convict me. I will burn the Dolby to the ground.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
We needed to say it.
Yep.
Yeah. All right. Director, which is a complete shit show.
Oh boy.
So we're gonna have John start with this one. So John is predicting Nolan, Scorsese, Gerwig, Glazer, and Payne.
Okay.
Erik.
I have the same 5, different order, but the same 5.
I did not see that coming.
It's I do not know what to do with this category. If you get the right 5 in this, I will applaud you, but there is nothing that is backing it that is
Oh,
I'm
if somehow I get all 5 right, I'll get this list tattooed on like my right ass cheek. Something like that.
It's insane the snubbery that is going to happen tomorrow morning in this category.
We're losing one, if not two, like semi-locks, I think.
The chance that this category could be all men too.
Oh yeah.
Oh my God.
Rob, who do you have?
I have the same. I have Nolan, Scorsese, Payne, Gerwig, and Glazer. And again, Glazer being the international director. Nolan, obviously he's probably winning. Got to give it to Scorsese. Payne, I was a little like back and forth, but hey, Payne seems to get in every time his film is nominated for picture. He's in. Descendants, which was
This is the first time he got in a BAFTA.
Sideways.
Yep. His
And
to
first
tell you how
BAFTA
strong the movie is.
they just he gets nominated every time his film gets nominated. So obviously Holdovers is getting in for picture. So I got Payne. Like I said, I think Gerwig is going to get in. It wouldn't seem right snubbing her. I could, like I said, talk about burning down the Dolby. And Glazer, I think, yeah, that I like this. That's my 5.
Okay, so I have Glazer, Nolan, Payne, Scorsese, and likely screenplay winner Justine Triet.
Okay,
Yeah, this was my big thing. This was like, what do I do with Greta Gerwig, Yorgos Lanthimos, and Justine Triet? Where do I go with them?
Correct.
Because those are 3 people. I'm giving them 1 spot. How does this work?
And to a lesser extent for me, Song was also in this conversation.
I mean, I think she's my number 9, but yeah. But it's, oh my God, this category it is going to be brutal.
Who do you think would potentially get bumped of the 5 that you picked?
Me?
You and sorry, Erik.
So even though the order that I have is Nolan, Scorsese, Payne, Gerwig, and Glazer, I really shouldn't have Glazer in 5. He's been in my top 5 since May. I've never taken him out. He's always been the one. And for like 7 of those months, he was top 3. This was one of those, we have enough backing to know how this plays out. And So predicting him, but even before Can was like, we got it. He's in. But the way that Anatomy has kind of risen, I feel like she should be in. But what if Scorsese's actually the huge surprise snub?
I could totally
What if he's
see that
the
happen.
Villeneuve or the anything, the whatever?
I could totally see that happen.
I could totally see that.
I don't think he's a lock.
The only lock there is Nolan because he's winning.
Yeah.
Everyone else, all 4 spots are really up for grabs.
Right.
And I will say also, Glazer, his film is winning foreign language.
Yep.
There's that.
Yep.
There is that. Scorsese, I don't think people would consider Killers a crowning achievement of his. As much as well liked as it is. It's up there. I don't think it's number 2 in picture. I don't think it's number 3 in picture. So there's that.
Yeah.
And as I said, we're losing one big name, if not 2.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
And if you're on the verge of like dropping 2 people, then Scorsese might realistically be the other person you drop.
It's
Ugh.
it's weird because I think it's very hard for any of us that they're doing this to kind of conceptualize a miss
For
like Scorsese here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's absolutely possible.
Oh yeah.
It's
It's possible that Gerwig gets bumped. I don't think she will.
I'm
but it's
predicting it,
possible.
so yeah.
Yeah.
You're predicting it. Okay.
It's most
Okay.
definitely possible that she
It's
is.
possible. I would see her being more vulnerable than Scorsese. But I think
Yes.
I don't know. But do you go for like a film that's considered important like Killers, or you go something like Barbie that was just this cultural phenomenon, huge box office, all the stuff that happened with that? Do you give Gerwig, that at least acknowledge her as someone who did that? Who was behind that? Like I said, it did that one. I feel strongly about her getting in as I do Margot Robbie. It would not make sense having either one of those snubbed. It wouldn't feel right.
No, it definitely wouldn't, but
Right, and I'm not a member.
That's why I'm predicting both.
I'm not a member. I'm not a member of the Academy by any stretch of them, obviously, and know that they could do anything. But there's just something that just they're both in,
And I have them both out. So
and you have them both out. Okay,
yeah,
yeah, those are very cool.
I mean, Barbie did worse than All the Strangers at BAFTA.
Yeah. And I'm not
somehow that happened.
Yeah.
It was on 15 shortlists.
Yep.
15.
Barbie doesn't seem like the BAFTAs would be, and obviously it didn't, but it doesn't surprise me that it didn't do well.
I mean, last month I was like, it's everywhere.
It definitely surprised me because it maxed out nominations everywhere else that it was at. So BAFTA's taking a huge left turn from that was a little surprising, but they do that sometimes. They have done that with films that go on to get 10 plus nominations at the Oscars anyway.
Sure.
Right.
Regardless of voting structure or period or whatever.
Yeah.
Sure.
All right.
It's hard to sort of like apply the new voting system to predictions in like any meaningful way because it's a mess. It's a mess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it changes every year.
Yeah. Picture we got there. I'm gonna go first. Okay, so I have American Fiction, Anatomy of a Fall, Barbie, The Holdovers, Killers of a Flower Moon, Maestro, Oppenheimer, Past Lives, Poor Things, and The Zone of Interest.
The PGA 10.
I do have the PGA 10. I caved in this morning, and I do have the PGA 10.
I also
enough people are predicting the PGA 10 where I feel like if it's wrong, I'll be like, well, everybody else predicted too. You also have the PGA 10?
I have the PGA 10.
Let me check if John has the PGA 10.
And we all have the PGA.
He sure does.
We all have it for the exact same reason. Well, I
Because
don't
there's only
recall
10
because
movies.
yeah, we'll see what Rob has.
I think Rob doesn't, but yeah. Rob, what do you have?
I don't
Yeah.
have the top. I have all
Good.
okay. This is my again. I don't know why I keep doing this. You guys have to talk me off the ledge. I have zone of interest not getting in,
Okay.
and you're like, okay, but it got. See it getting international and director and screenplay. Okay, so here's what I have is on 10th place, and I could be dead wrong, but there's just something that's nagging me, and it's OSAG, Oprah SAG, The Color Purple.
Yeah.
And I see Color Purple getting like Blindside getting picture and one acting, An Education getting picture and one acting. That I I don't know why you need to like convince me otherwise that yes,
I don't think we do.
Two international films are going to get in, and Color Purple's only going to get the one nomination. Or just I cannot get Oprah Winfrey and the SAG Ensemble nomination out of my head. So
I'm not going to talk you out of it for the sake of variety, also
Okay.
because it could happen.
Eric,
It could totally happen. I think if it happens, it's not going to be the expensive zone, but
Nope.
it could totally happen.
Past Lives.
Yep. That's
Okay.
Past Lives is number 10. I'm
Okay.
sorry, but it's number 10.
Yeah. Before
Okay.
BAFTA, I would have told you Maestro is number 10, but no.
Right.
Past
Okay.
Lives is number 10.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to stick with this, and I'm probably wrong, but I'm thinking, okay, I'm probably wrong, but I'm going to stick with this. What the fuck?
No,
Remember, I just said a little
Color
while ago.
Purple is much more Academy than Past Lives is.
Okay.
there are.
I know it doesn't make sense to take Zone out, even though I have it in director, but I don't know. They do crazy shit like that.
I mean, Zone missed BAFTA. It didn't get in to the best film, so
yeah,
there's that.
But I hope I'm wrong.
I think it's the reason why so many people have gone with PGA 10, and actually, like all of the major outlets have as well too. So there is it's a little too uniform, but the reason is because they never go for films like Anatomy and Zone. Those are the films that get replaced at the Oscars from two films at the PGA that are like the box office movies or more American art films. But PGA covered everything. So that making that transition logically made more sense. And when we were doing our final predictions a few days ago or last week, one of my contributors, Kevin, said part of the reason that it seems so easy to predict this 10 is that by appearances, the gap between 10 and 11 is so huge.
exactly.
That it doesn't feel like anything can get there.
Right.
If anything does, it is The Color Purple, though. It's absolutely that.
Yes. But it doesn't feel like it's on the cusp.
No.
That's the thing. And that's why everybody's going with these 10.
Right. And yes, and it all makes sense. And everybody, I don't know. I can't get this out of my head. That's my problem, you know?
No, I think it makes an enormous amount of sense. Not, simply because of Oprah, but I will say all of the stuff with Taraji P. Henson and pay discrepancies and stuff like that. I'm glad that she spoke, but oh my God, it did not help.
It's like the opposite of like campaigning for the movie.
Yeah. Yeah.
But even without that, the film's disastrous guild performance, when it should have gotten in several places and only got SAG, is very questionable. But at the same time, the fact that it got SAG cast makes perfect sense. Totally in line with what gets nominated there.
It's a huge cast full of people that their colleagues really like.
Yes, and it's an entirely black cast.
Yeah.
Outside of Elizabeth Marvel. So it's, again, makes perfect sense at SAG. You can make a lot of correlations between that and being able to get in Best Picture that make a lot of sense. And it's absolutely what makes it either number 10 or number 11. And
The
the
less
reason,
so over the last few years.
yeah, the reason why
It's
I think
been a
Past Lives is number 10 is because it is A24. And we just saw last year their inability to get 2 films into Best Picture. And last year should have been the year that it happened. Because The Whale got in PGA and had the Best Actor winner.
Yeah.
And they still couldn't do it. And it's not them not campaigning hard enough. It's some type of, it's something in voters' minds where they allow other studios to have multiple Best Picture nominees. But A24 can't ever do it. And there's no logical reason for it. So there's no math to it whatsoever. There's nothing of like, here's the reason why it doesn't happen. It just doesn't happen.
Right.
Yeah.
So if something is going to fall, it's Past Lives, I think.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's also getting into what? Original screenplay, and that's it.
Right.
Yeah. Unless it then gets in for actor and actress and screenplay and yeah.
Which would be a wonderful day because Greta Lee and Teo are fantastic and should be in.
Yeah. It started off as a movie that was a contender in like supporting actor and screenplay and blah blah blah. And yeah.
That it's gotten this far for being an early summer opening is wonderful. It will win Spirit Awards. It's going to win everything there.
Did amazing with critics, One National Society. That was incredible. Yeah.
It's a wonderful film. So I don't know. But yeah, I'm sticking with PGA 10, even though it's never happened.
Yeah. Well, like I said, first time for everything. It's bound to happen at one time. So
I'm glad because I think you were probably going to be right, Rob, and we're in such lockstep.
It's never happened.
That we can't get out of it.
Yeah.
Let's hope I'm wrong.
I mean, I do hope you're wrong because Past Lives deserves.
Yeah.
Depending what gets dropped.
Or Zone deserves.
I will take Color Purple over Maestro any day of the week for the rest of my life.
Not me. I love Maestro. Unapologetically. I love it so much. It's so messy.
I have so much movie watching to do between now. Well, the nominations will come out, which will also help because then it'll prioritize certain films that I've kind of held off a little bit, like to not watch certain films just because, like, okay, I'm gonna wait because if they don't get nominated, then they drop down to the low priority.
Yeah.
So yeah, after the nominations, I'll really hunker down and start watching a lot more films. But yeah, another year, man. Yeah, it'll be fun to see what what the Academy is going to do, and hopefully they don't pull a BAFTA and just like all kinds of wacky shit. But yeah, I think
the wrong kind of wacky shit.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
I'm okay with surprises when they're good.
I think wacky shit is going to happen. That's pretty inevitable.
What would be what would be one of your things that like just so a great wacky thing? I mean, we talked about All the Strangers and Scott, but is there anything else that would be so cool left field that you're like, holy shit, they did it. They actually went for this. Good for them.
Honestly, Saltburn Anywhere.
Okay.
Other than that potential original screenplay, and something came up after it got 3 BAFTA acting nominations.
Yeah.
And I think like 5 total. It's been almost 25 years since, across multiple voting structures, styles, and time when BAFTA is out, that a film got that many an English film and didn't get anything at the Oscars.
And that, to me, it's still nagging at me because without Keoghan and Mescal, we have no returning nominees from last year at all.
Yes. And the other thing
which also almost never happens.
Oh wow.
that almost never happens, and that's something that I was also in my chaos monster era floating. That Paul Mescal is the returning Afterglow nominee.
I would love that so much. I could cry.
I would obviously freak the fuck out. It would be wild and, sad because
There's a slot open in supporting actor. I will
But-
say, because we were all predicting Sessa, but there is a slot open in
Yep.
supporting actor for that to potentially happen.
yes. That's what's one of those things that we're talking about it because it happens. We're talking about it because voters become familiar. They do like, newcomers,
Right.
but they get very familiar.
Mhm.
And I mean, it's why last year's Best Actor was such a phenomenal lineup, because it was all new. And that hadn't
Yeah.
happened for 84 years.
Yeah.
And Tom Cruise couldn't get through it.
God.
So they're so willing to find somebody that they've nominated before that
Yeah.
they'll do it ahead
Yeah.
of others, unless it's Tom Cruise.
Yeah. And so many years we got bailed out because it was going to be like Meryl Streep. And this year it's on Paul Mescal. Even more so than Barry Keoghan, I think.
Because
Yeah.
Keoghan would go lead, and that's not happening.
That would be so wild. I would love that as a number.
Wait, who go lead?
Keoghan is lead, right?
Yeah,
He would be,
yeah.
and that
Yeah.
he's not going to bump any of these.
No, but he's got BAFTA and Golden Globe. So
Yeah.
He does. Yeah.
you could do a lot worse.
Yeah. When was the last time that the following year there were no returning champions?
I don't even remember.
Oh gosh.
I'd have to do some serious research.
Yeah, I usually have it, but I don't. But yeah, it's not common.
Yeah, that's not common.
There's always somebody returning.
Yeah.
Yeah, when that opportunity is there. But
And I can't think of anybody else outside the two of them that could pull it off.
Mm,
They're just they just don't have movies out. So
yeah, exactly.
Well, there's some, but they're nowhere near getting nominated. Like, didn't Michelle Yeoh make a movie this year, that Death in Venice? Not that she's going to get nominated, but
yeah.
she's somebody who
Haunting in Venice.
She's a winner.
And of course, Jamie Lee Curtis in Haunted Mansion. So
Mhm.
Brendan
surprise,
Fraser in
actress,
Killers. Brendan Fraser in Killers.
Don't even put it out there. You leave this.
you show yourself to the door. Can't believe you put that out there.
He got in for SAG Ensemble over Cara Jade Myers.
Right.
I can't even talk about the fuckery of the SAG rules.
Oh, I know.
It's
shameful. And the Oppenheimer, there was a lot of great people that didn't make it in.
They can't. They don't have their own title card. They can't make it in.
That's so.
If you don't get your title card, you're out. Yeah.
You gotta, if you're a with or an and, you're great. Rami Malek has 4 lines. He's in.
And Affleck got in too, and he's in it for like 3 seconds, right?
Yeah. He just has his one scene.
Right. It's a great scene though, but
yeah,
he's terrifying.
Anyway.
Any final thoughts?
Okay. Yeah, I'm putting Brendan Fraser in my supporting actor now.
Oh my God.
This is not how I wanted to end this.
Putting that in the universe.
Zoom.
This is cursed.
It's not going to happen. I don't have that power. I wish I did, but I don't.
I just hope that Sandra Hüller has a good showing, and I guess the fuckery that could happen that would actually make me happy is May December getting anything outside of maybe screenplay.
Yeah. The fall of Charles Melton, who was on such a beautiful trajectory, is insane and heartbreaking.
Insane.
I don't get it. He's wonderful. Julianne Moore, one of my favorites, my all-time favorite Natalie Portman performance.
Oh no, all 3 of them are great.
Yeah.
These people are working at just a phenomenal level,
Yeah. Yeah.
and all should get in.
Yeah.
And won't, in favor of some very questionable
Garbage. Yeah.
Mhm.
Some very questionable garbage.
Mhm.
Yeah. All right. Thank you so much, guys. This
Thanks
was a
for
lot of
having
fun.
us.
Yeah,
That
it was also
great.
like 4 hours long.
That was awesome. right.
And we'll reconvene for, a postmortem after nominations. In the meantime, bye.
All right. Have a good one. Ciao, guys.